So hi there students, welcome back again to another video lesson for grade 7 mathematics quarter 4. So during our discussion for week 6, so I have discussed with you measures of central tendency, yung tinatawag nating mean, median, and mode. So wherein na i-discuss ko paano sila i-calculate given ungrouped and grouped data. So for this next video lesson for week 7, so we will be discussing another statistical measures. So this time, we will be discussing measures of variability. So sa measures of variability, so apat po ang statistical measures natin dyan. So we have range, the average or mean deviation, variance, and standard deviation. So yung range, hindi naman siya masyadong mahirap. Okay, so na-discuss mo naman na yan dati. So, isasama na lang natin sila. So, range and average deviation. Tapos, yung next video lesson naman natin is yung variance and standard deviation kasi partner talaga yung dalawa na yon. So, let's start our discussion. So, for our lesson objectives, we will illustrate the measures of variability, specifically range and average deviation. So, yung average deviation, kamukha lang po siya ng mean deviation. Mean or average, pareho lang po yun. And then after that, after illustrating these measures of variability, we will calculate the measures of variability of ungrouped data. So again, specifically range and average deviation. So before anything else, let us first define what is measures of variability and how measures of variability differs from measures of central tendency. So when we say measures of variability or also known as measures of dispersion, it describes how far away the data points tend to fall from the center. Okay, so di ba yung measures of central tendency, we have mean, median, and mode. Okay, so wherein yung mean, yung average, and then yung median, yung middle value, and then yung mode naman is yung most frequently occurring value. So dito, kino-consider natin yung individual score, individual data. So, tinitignan natin kung gaano ba kalayo yung bawat data na yon dun sa center. So, kapag center na dyan, it has something to do with mean or yung average. Kaya nga meron tayong average deviation, mean deviation. So, yun. So, dispersion, kung gaano kalalapit, gaano kalalayo yung mga data sa isa't isa. So, common measures of variability are range, average deviation, variance, and standard deviation. So, sabi ko nga, since madali lang naman ang range, and then, yung average deviation, so, pinagsama po natin sila. And then, yung partner talaga dyan is yung variance and standard deviation. So, for this video lesson, range muna and average deviation. And then, on the second video lesson, we'll have variance and standard deviation. So, to start our discussion, so what is range? So, madalas na po natin yung naririnig dun sa frequency distribution table, diba? As well as doon sa measures of central tendency. So, what is range again? So, of all the measures of variability, range is the easiest one to measure. Tama naman. So, ito yung madali na i-calculate, i-compute sa mga measures of variability. Why? Because range is obtained by determining the difference between the highest score and the lowest score in a distribution. So, wala siyang masyadong complicated na steps na process. It's because isusubtract lang natin yung highest score dun sa isusubtract lang natin yung lowest score dun sa highest score. So, yun lang. De-determine lang natin kung ano yung highest score, ano yung lowest score dun sa given data, given distribution, and that would be the time na makukuha natin yung range. So, yung group data, so kapag group data ang pinag-uusapan naman natin, just simply subtract the upper boundary from the lower boundary to find the value of the range. So, i-discuss na po natin yung range kapag group data since madali lang naman talaga siya. So let us now have an example for range of ungrouped data. So madali lang naman kasi yung range, kaya dito sa video lesson natin, magkasama yung ungroup and group sa range. So sa range lang, hindi sa average deviation. So let us have scores of 10 students in a 50-item quarterly exam are given below. Find the range. So ang makikita natin dito yung mga scores na nakuha ng 10 students sa isang quarterly exam o yung tinatawag nating periodical exam. So find the range. So ito yung mga scores ng 10 students. Okay. So para hindi tayo malito, pwede nating i-arrange yung mga scores. Like for example, 18 is the lowest score. And then 19. So after ng 19, line up to na tayo. 20. What else? 23, 25, and then 26. 23, 25, 26, and then line of 3, 31, 37. Line of 4, 46, and 49. So now that our data are arranged in ascending order, so pataas, so mas madali nating makikita ano yung lowest score and highest score. So basically, yung lowest score po natin dito is 18. And then our highest score is 49. So to get or to calculate the range is equal to highest score, HS, minus lowest score. So the highest score is 49, and then the lowest score is 18. So 49 minus 18, that will be the range. And 49 minus 18 is equal to 31. So ayan. So ibig sabihin, ang layo ng lowest score sa highest score is 31. Okay. So yan lang po yung range for ungrouped data. So let us have example for group data. So the table below shows the ages of 35 residents of Barangay San Isidro. So we have a frequency distribution table here, wherein in the first column, nakalagay po yung mga edad, ages. And then in the second column, we have frequency. Okay. So, para kunin ang range, so ganito lang po siya. Pag group data, range is equal to upper boundary minus lower boundary. Okay. So, sa upper boundary, ito po yung 50, yung pinakamataas. Mag-a-add lang po tayo ng 0.5. So, yung upper boundary natin is 50.5. Minus, dun sa lower boundary naman, that is 21, magsusubtract naman tayo ng 0.5. Then, it will become 20.5. Tsaka lang po natin i-subtract. So, 50.5 minus 20.5 is 30. So, yung nakuha nating range is 30. Therefore, the difference of the ages of 35 residents sa Barangay San Isidro is 30. So, ganyan kalayo yung edad ng mga 35 residents of Barangay San Isidro. So, after natin sa range, so madali lang yung range. So, let us have average deviation. So, what is average deviation? So, by the way, sa mga ibang modules, ibang mga textbooks, hindi siya average deviation. That is mean deviation. Average or mean, pareho lang po yan. Wala po silang pinagkaiba. So, average deviation or known as mean deviation is calculated to determine how far all values in a distribution from the mean. Okay, so since mean deviation ang pinag-uusapan natin, kinakailangan talaga nating i-compute yung average or yung mean. Kasi tinitignan natin kung gaano kalayo yung bawat score, yung individual score, dun sa mean, sa isang distribution. So, what is the formula in calculating the average deviation? So, ito yung formula niya. So, AD stands for average deviation. Sa ibang book, MD kasi mean deviation. Okay, so yung formula natin dito is summation of the absolute value difference of the individual score and the mean all over n. So yung x lang po dyan, yung walang bar sa taas, is yung tinatawag nating scores, yung individual score. And then yung x bar naman is yung mean. So kaya siya merong absolute value kasi kahit na makakuha tayo ng negative, positive pa rin po yan. Basta tandaan natin, pag may absolute value, lahat ng magiging values natin ay puro positive. And then n is the number of observations, the total frequency. Okay, halimbawa, the number of students. Ayan. So here are the steps in calculating the average deviation. So yung unang step natin, compute the mean of the distribution. So yan, syempre, we're talking about average deviation, kaya mahalaga po na i-calculate muna natin yung mean, yung average. Hindi kasi natin malalaman kung gaano kalapit or kalayo yung mga scores kung wala tayong mean. And then, add the entries in column of the absolute value difference of the score, individual score, and the mean. Okay, so ang gagamitin natin dito is yung naka-table para mas organized yung tignan. Okay, so that is subtract the mean from each score of the distribution and get the absolute value. Okay, so there are some instances kasi yung mga nakukuha nating difference is negative. Okay, so wala po kasing distance na negative siya. So kaya kinukuha natin yung absolute value. Like for example, kung ang nakuha nating value is negative 2, so the absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2. Next, add the results from the column of the absolute value difference of each score and the mean. Okay, so after natin makuha yung deviation, yan. So, i-add lang po natin yun on the second column. So, add lang natin yung mga nakuha nating mga sagot. And then, divide the sum obtained in step 3 by n. So, kapag na-total na natin, nakuha na natin yung summation, i-divide lang natin yung result na yon kung ilan yung n, kung ano yung value ng n. So let us have an example. We have here weight in kilograms of 5 grade 7 students are as follows. So yun yung mga timbang. So yung first step natin, calculate the mean, yung average weight. So to do that, let's apply the formula. So x bar is equal to summation of x over n. So add natin yung mga timbang. So 42 plus 43 plus 38 plus 40 plus 37 over the number of students, 5. Next, add natin lahat yung mga numbers na yan, yung timbang, will have 200. And then divide natin sa 5. Therefore, the average weight is 40. Kasi 200 divided by 5 is 40. Next, dun sa first column natin, sa table natin, isulat natin yung mga timbang ng 5 grade 7 students. 42, 43, 38, 40, 37. And then on the second column, so kukunan natin yung absolute value difference nung kada timbang na yon dun sa mean. So pag subtract natin, so una, absolute value of 42 minus 40, that is absolute value of positive 2. So, hindi natin kailangan lagyan ng positive. So, ayan. So, absolute value of 2 is 2 pa rin. So, lagay natin dito 2. Next, absolute value of 43 minus 40, that is absolute value of 3. Absolute value of 3 is 3. Next, the absolute value of 38 minus 40, that is absolute value of negative 2. So, absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2. Next, Absolute value of 40 minus 40, that is 0. So absolute value of 0 is 0. And then, finally, the absolute value of 37 minus 40, that is absolute value of negative 3, we have positive 3. And then, i-add lang po natin yung mga nakuha nating sum, difference, absolute value difference. So, 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 0 plus 3 will have 10. So, yan yung nakuha nating summation. And then, yung formula natin, so, ayan. So, yung nakuha nating summation is 10, di ba? Number of students is 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So, ibig sabihin, yung average deviation ng timbang ng 5 students na yan is 2. Okay, so ganyan yung pinaka-average na layo ng timbang ng 5 students na yan dun sa ating average weight na 40. So, the recorded temperature in degrees Celsius for the past 7 days in JR's room are as follows. So, ayan yung recorded temperature. So, kung gaano kainit or kalamig dun sa kwarto ni JR for the past 7 days. So, ayan yung mga temperature. 26, 28, 23, 30, 27, 26, 24. So, A, calculate the mean. Okay. So, next, add the column. Ayan. So, kagaya ng ginawa natin sa first example kanina. Okay. So, calculate the mean. So, summation of x all over n. So, add lang natin 26 plus 28 plus 23 plus 30 plus 27 plus 26 plus 24. And then, divide natin sa 7. Okay. So, add natin ngayon yung 26 hanggang 24. So, 26 plus 28, that is 54, plus 23, 77, plus 30, 107, plus 27, we have 134, plus 26, 160, plus 24, we have 184. And then, i-divide natin yung 184 sa 7. So, yung mean natin is 26.29. So, approximate lang yan. So, 26.29. Next, ilista natin yung mga temperature dito sa first column. So, 26, 28, 23, 30, 27, 26, 24. Okay. Next, subtract ngayon natin yung 26.29. Okay. Dun sa mga temperature, individual temperature. So, una, 26 minus 26.29. So, ang makukuha nating difference is negative 0.29. So, sulat natin. That is negative 0.29. And then, yung absolute value niya is 0.29. So, yun ang isusulat natin dito. Next, 28 minus 26.29. So, ang makukuha nating difference is 1.71. So, dahil positive siya, wala namang mangyayari. Positive pa rin siya. So, 1.71. Next, 23 minus 26.29. So, 23 minus 26.29 will have negative 3.29. Yung absolute value niya is 3.29. Next, absolute value of 30 minus 26.29. So, we'll have positive 3.71. Absolute value niya is 3.71. Next, 27 minus 26.29. So, that is 0.71. So, the absolute value of 0.71 is 0.71. Okay. Next. Again, yung nakuha natin na 26. 26 pa rin siya. So, kamukha lang siya ng solusyon nung pinakauna. So, ang sagot doon is negative 0.29. So, absolute value, 0.29. And then finally, so we have 24 minus 26.29. So, 24 minus 26.29 will have negative 2.29. So, absolute value, 2.29. So, last step, i-add lang po natin yung mga nakuha nating mga difference. So, 0.29 plus 1.71 plus 3.29 plus 3.71 plus 0.71 plus 0.29 plus 2.29. So, the sum will be 12.29. So, yung nakuha nating summation is 12.29. So, apply natin yung formula. So, average deviation is equal to the summation of the absolute value difference of each course and the mean all over n. So, that is 12.29. And then, divide natin sa 7. So, 12.29 divided by 7. So, the result will be 1.76. So, ibig sabihin, ganyan po yung average na deviation, yung average distance. So, kung gaano kalayo yung average temperature sa lahat ng temperature for the past 7 days. So, 1.76. So, after discussing range in average deviation of ungrouped data, so yung next naman is yung variance in standard deviation. So, yun lang. Maraming salamat.